First and foremost, want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Wakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of great millstone who teach well and taught us this truth. Salutation to the Akim, preaching the truth in sincerity. Present your body as living sacrifice. Shalom to the elect, the hopeful elect. Shalom to the few sisters listening or in the silence. Mashiach from the camp, Children of the Light. Back at you with another one. Came across this video of Tucker Carlson talking to this Jewish theologian, and I thought it was interesting. I've been seeing a lot of videos of Tucker Carlson getting on their ass. You know, the you wish people, the people that wish they were the real people, they were the real children of Israel, the chosen people of the Most High. So let's listen to the video and break it down as he goes through it.
To Genesis. Genesis 15 says it's Abram, it's pre-Abraham, it's Abram, receives from God the news that his descendants will inherit the land, and you tell me as the theologian if I'm getting this wrong, but from the Euphrates to the Nile. I think that's right. And that would include basically the entire Middle East.
So let's go ahead and let's pull some maps up. Well, first, let's go ahead and jump to Genesis 15. Genesis 15. And I believe it's towards the bottom. 18. Genesis 15. Okay. Genesis 15:18. In the same day, the Lord Yahweh, this is the Father, made a covenant with Abram, who would later become Abraham, saying, unto thy seed, right, have I given this land. Abraham's seed, right, the seed of Isaac, right, seed of Isaac, which went to Jacob, which went to the 12 tribes. Unto thy seed have I given this land, from the river of Egypt, which is the Nile, unto the great river, the river Euphrates. So let's go ahead and let's put a map on that. Let's do Bible map. Images. Oh, I like this. Let me see. Still make this larger for us. Okay, let's get another one. Let's see. Make sure we get the right one. Delete that. Ham, Kush, this is Egypt. Nile to the, let's do Nile to Euphrates. It's taking me longer than I wanted to, but I'm looking for a real simple map. Let's just do Bible map again. I'm do biblical map. I'm looking for a real simple map here. Let's see. No, it's not what I wanted. See this one. This is what we want right here. Okay, I see Egypt. These got the Nile. All right, let's see. Is this one gonna do it? Okay, so it's saying from the Nile, the great river Egypt, which is the Nile, to the Euphrates. So let's do Euphrates. River, and let's get the images, man. So the Euphrates River, which runs along Iraq, right? Um, mm, mm, mm. Iraq is modern day Babylon. So, right, Babylon. Here we go, right here. Right. So, Genesis 15 and 18 saying, I will give you the land from the Nile, which is this river here, to the great river Euphrates, which runs along Babylon. All right. So, pretty much all of this land mass here. And let's look at this one again. So, I think that's what I was looking at. Okay. Let's bring this up. I hate when they don't make it. Okay, cool. Right. So we see that this is the river Euphrates, right, which runs along Iraq, right, which is Babylon in the Bible is modern day Iraq, right here. Jordan, Jerusalem, and then we go to this guy, and we got Jerusalem right here, right, and we got Egypt and Babylon. So that's a nice big land mass which is being promised from here to here on down, right? Nice big old land mass which is being promised to the people. Okay, according to Genesis 15 and 18. In the same day, the Lord made a covenant with Abram, saying, unto thy seed have I given this land, from the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates. All right.
That would be the Levant. So that would be Israel, Jordan, Syria, Lebanon. It would also be big parts of Saudi Arabia and Iraq.
Right, man. Which is what we see. Right? And then let's do a map of Middle East. Which ain't no Middle East, but it is what it is. Let's do images. I think this one right here. Okay, right. So, give me a nice big map. Okay. So from Egypt, right, the Nile, to the river Euphrates. I believe this is the Euphrates, right, as he says, right? So all of this landmass, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, as he's saying, right? So all of that was given, right? Because the land, all of this was given to the 12 tribes.
It would be, I mean,
I'm not sure it would go that far. I mean, it would be a big piece of land, but here's the point.
It would be a lot of places that are now countries.
But this particular area that we're talking about now, Israel, is a land that God gave through Abraham to a people that he chose. It was a people, a place, and a purpose. We can look at it that way. Christian Zionism, I want to go back because that's where we started
I'm
on
not
this.
going to let you off on this because you have said it 3 times that God gave this land to this people. And so it is entirely fair for me with respect to ask, what land are you talking about? Because I just read Genesis 15, as I have many times. Mm-hmm. And that land, I think it says, from the Nile to the Euphrates, which is, once again, basically the entire Middle East. So God gave that land to his people, the Jews, or he didn't.
And just for clarification, he did not give it to the Jews. He gave it to the seed of Abraham, Isaac, going on down to Jacob, which is the 12 tribes. So that land goes to all 12 tribes. The Jews is a derogatory term that was given to the 3 tribes that were in Jerusalem during like the Roman Empire, right? So you got Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. They were referred to as Jews because they were the tribes that were in Jerusalem, right? But it wasn't given to the Jews. It was given to the Israelites, all 12 tribes, right? And so if you go to Deuteronomy, duplicate DEU, it's 7, right? Deuteronomy 7:1. When the Lord thy God shall bring thee into the land of Canaan, right, from the Nile to the Euphrates, right, will bring thee into the land whether thou go to possess it, and have cast out many nations before thee, right? So exactly, that land was promised to the Israelites, all 12 tribes of them. And as for the other nations that was on that land, this is what the Most High is saying. He's saying, and have cast out many nations before you, before thee, the Hittites and the Girgashites and the Amorites and the Canaanites and the Perizzites and the Hivites and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than thou. Right? And when the Lord thy God shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor show them no mercy. Right? And this happened already, right? This was, when the Israelites made their exodus from Egypt, and then they were given that land. So you would have to go through Joshua to, get that, right? Books like Joshua and Kings, and you have to go into the history, right, per the scriptures. And actually, let's look that up. When did the Israelites, I should say, when were the Israelites first called Jews? Let's look at that. Okay, Israelites were first called Jews during the Babylonian exile in the 6th century BCE. Okay, correction on that, right? So that's when they first became that, right, because by the time of the Babylonian captivity, Northern Kingdom had already been taken away years before by the Assyrian Empire, right? So now the Southern Kingdom were under Babylonian captivity, right? Okay. The word Jew, originate from the tribe of Judah, which along with the tribe of Benjamin formed the Southern Kingdom. And you also had the tribe, some of the tribe of Levi that was there as well. Okay. So now we know what that term Jew is only referring to, 2 or 3 tribes, right? But what about the remaining tribes, right? Because you had the Southern Kingdom, which was Judah, and the Northern Kingdom, which was Israel, right? The head tribe Ephraim. Okay, cool. So let's get back.
We're saying he did. What does that mean? Does Israel have the right to that land? Because you're appealing to Genesis.
Yeah.
You're saying that's the original deed.
It would be fine if they took it all.
If Bibi's family, we know they lived in Eastern Europe. There's no evidence there.
Man, and before he gets to that point, that's right. That it belongs to the true people of the Lord. The true Israelites, not the people over there pretending to be. And he's going to go into that right now.
Ever lived here? He's not religious.
But
in what sense?
How do we know that?
Do you have his family tree? No, we don't.
Do you?
He doesn't. So no one does. That's the point. So how do we know that he has any connection to this land at all?
That's right. See, and I love this, right? Satan being divided against Satan. Esau being divided against Esau. I love it because Tucker Carlson is saying we don't even, Bibi Netanyahu is not even, right, a real Israelite. His family tree comes from Poland, Eastern Europe, right? He's a Ashkenazi. Well, I'm sorry, he is a Edomite, pretending to be an Ashkenazi, pretending to be an Israelite. How do we know that? Because let's do a little work on him, on his surname. Right, common knowledge. This is AI overview, man. Benjamin Netanyahu's birth name is not Milikowski. Okay, but now let's see, and this is how Esau and his AI get tricky. but his father, Ben Zion Netanyahu, was born Ben Zion Milikowski. So if your father last name is Milikowski, then God damn it, you are a Milikowski. You could change it to whatever you want to change it to, but we know you come from the we know you come from the line of Milikowski, right? Because that's his father. His father, Netanyahu, was born Ben Zion Milikowski. Ben Zion changed the family name to Netanyahu after moving from Warsaw to Palestine in 1920. Benjamin Netanyahu was born in Israel in 1949 and has always used the name, always used the surname Netanyahu. Just because you use it doesn't mean that that's your original name, man. That's not your. You're still a Milikowski, bro. Right? You are masquerading as an Israelite, right? Now let's see what's the origin of that name, man. Milikowski is an Ashkenazi Jewish name, and Ashkenaz, right, comes from the line of Japhet, right? Because Noah had three sons: Shem, Ham, and Japhet, right? So how you gonna be a Japhetic Shemite, man? Right, but we know this is really Esau masquerading as an Ashkenazi who's masquerading as an Israelite. Okay, put some more on that.
And if there has been a practice of Judaism and a connection to the language, the Bible, the land.
Oh, and don't get me started on that language because we know where that language came from, right? So they speak Yiddish, man. I forget the guy name. Let's do Yiddish origin. Okay. What's the guy name? German linguistic. I can't spell for none. But hey, it got me though. I want the guy name though, man. I want the guy name. Yiddish is a West Germanic language originating around the 10th century in the Rhineland, Germany, when Jewish settlers blended medieval German dialect with Hebrew, Aramaic, and Romance languages. Okay, no. So there's this guy. What is the let's do this. Right, father of modern Hebrew language. Here we go. This is who I wanted though. Elazar ben Yehuda is considered the father of modern Hebrew, leading its revival from a holy scholarly language into a living daily tongue. Moving to Palestine in 1881, he co-founded the Hebrew Language Committee. Okay, now let's look into dude, man, right? Because he was, I believe, of German descent. Here we go. Elazar ben Yehuda, a Russian Jewish linguist, lexicographer, and journalist who immigrated to Jerusalem in 1881 when the Ottoman Empire ruled it. That's right. The modern day Hebrew is not Hebrew. It's Yiddish. It's a blend of it's more German than it is anything. So what is this guy talking about, man, when he says if he speak the language? Don't none of them speak the language. Go to the Wikipedia, man. He is renowned as the lexicographer of the first Hebrew dictionary. Let's look this word up too while we at it. At this point, we just gonna keep drilling. I haven't even got to the precepts.
Lexicographer.
Lexicographer. A lexicographer is a professional who researches, writes, and edits dictionaries, analyzing word usage, meaning, pronunciation, and history. Okay.
Lexicographer.
Lexicographer. Right. He is renowned as the lexicographer of the first Hebrew dictionary and also as the editor of Jerusalem-based Hazivi, one of the first Hebrew news. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Okay, the primary driving force behind the revival of the Hebrew language. And this is his real name. Elazar Yitzka Perlman. Ain't none of that. Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. You can't tell me this guy, you can't write. So, what do you mean speak the language? Yehuda. You can't tell me that anybody over there, his native language was Yiddish. He attended a Jewish elementary school where he studied Hebrew and the Hebrew Bible from the age of 3, as was customary among the Jews of Eastern Europe. So again, this guy, right? Probably the same, right? A Edomite masquerading as an Ashkenazi, right? But we know this is Esau, because Esau is a culture vulture, man. He want to be everything but Esau, all in the attempt to try to get back that birthright that he sold, man, because he didn't care, and it was never going to be his, according to election.
His ancestors didn't. He doesn't practice Judaism in any rigorous way. His ancestors didn't live here. They didn't speak the language, and there's no evidence they ever lived here. So on what basis does he have a right to be here?
Very much speaks the language. He has fought for the land. His family has fought for the land.
Dodging a very obvious question, which is, where does this right come from? And the reason it's meaningful is because there are a lot of people in the territory that Israel controls today, particularly in the West Bank, who, through genetic testing, we can know their families have been here for thousands of years. We don't know that. A lot of them we know have been Christians for 2,000 years. They have less of a right to the land than someone whose ancestors, the only thing we know about them is they lived in Latvia or Poland. They're Eastern European. How does that work?
They're Jewish.
Right, man. See? If Satan be divided against Satan, man, how can his house stand? And all of this is a part of Esau's kingdom going down, man. Right? Because his magic and his cup of fornication is weakened, man. The Lord is making Esau bare. But let's get into some scripts, right? Because what they're trying to do is what Esau is trying to do is what he always been trying to do, man. He's been trying to get back that birthright since he sold it. This is Isaiah 14:1. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land. That's right, the Lord is going to put them over there. Not the Balfour Act of 1948 with the Rothschilds. Right? And the strangers, who are the strangers? The strangers are the Israelite foreigners, Israelites who don't know that they're Israelites, because they've been Hellenized, because they were living amongst the other nations and they think they are the other nations. But nah, man, that's just where you were born, but that's not who you are by birth. By birth, you are Israelite. And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. That's right. It says the Lord is going to choose Israel and put them in their own land. Okay? And so now, because Esau imagines a vain thing, he thinks he's going to do this himself, right? And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in that land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. So The people being possessed here is not the same people it's talking about up here. Up here, the strangers are Israelite foreigners. The people that's being possessed for servants and handmaidens are the other nations who are not Israelites by blood, right? Who do not come from that genealogy, right? Ask of me, and I will give thee the heathen for an inheritance. That's right, man. The other nations will be servants and handmaidens to the house of Israel in the kingdom, because this is talking about when the kingdom is here, when Yahweh Shai establishes his kingdom on earth, and the tabernacles of David will be risen, and they shall take them captive, who captive they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. Like it says in Revelation, he that leads into captivity must go into captivity, right? And from here, let me jump to Isaiah 2. Okay? Because Isaiah 2 and Isaiah 14 almost saying the same thing. It says Isaiah 2 and 2. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top. And when you see mountain, mountain just means nation. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the nation of the Lord's house, which is the nation of Israel, shall be established in the top of the mountains. All right, so the nation of Israel is going to sit above all of the other nations. And it shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow into it. So that's right, man. So in the last days, when Yahweh Shah sets up his kingdom here on earth, right? The Lord, this is Yahweh, the Father, right? He chose Jacob, right? So the nation of Israel is going to be exalted above all other nations, and all nations shall flow into it, which means all nations will be in subjugation to Israel, the nation. And many people shall go and say, come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord. Let us go up to the nation of the Lord, to the house of the God of Jacob, and he will teach us his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. That's right, because when Yahweh Shah establishes the kingdom on earth, right, everything is going to be set back into its proper into its proper state, man. Order is going to come back, right? And the only law is going to be the law of the Most High, the statute, laws, and commandments of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, right? And the Israelites are going to be the ruling class people, because we were given righteousness, the righteousness of the Lord, right, to be the salt of the earth. You understand? And so this guy, BB, he imagines a vain thing that he's going to be the one to accomplish this on earth. And there's a bunch of interviews out there where he's saying how he wants Israel to be the powerhouse over there in the Middle East. But two things wrong with that. It's not by your hand that it's going to happen, and it's not the Israel that's over there today. The powerhouse, the ruling class, is going to go to the 12 tribes, right? Yahweh Shah, and then King David, and then the elect, and then the 12 tribes on down, right? But see, this guy thinks the power's in his hand and he's going to do this. And you can see him, because the land that they've already taken, like the Gaza Strip and whatever other land that they got from Lebanon, they've already like started developing on that and claiming it. And so he thinks that through war and through deceit and lies, he's gonna go and he's gonna go out conquering to reclaim all of this, right? But we know that the people over there is not the people, right? Okay. Isaiah 2 and 4, and he shall judge among the nations, right? So Israel going, and he shall judge among the nations and shall rebuke many people. That's right, man. Because that's why I say many nations shall flow unto it, right? Because law and order and righteousness is going to come from the nation of Israel in the kingdom, right? And he shall judge among the nations and shall rebuke many people. And they shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn any more war. It's going to be peace on earth, man. So, yeah, they're not going to need weapons. It's going to be peace on earth. You know, ain't going to be nothing but farmers, you know what I'm saying? Cropsmen, you understand? Law and order. But that's going to come because the Lord, right, is going to establish that. The Lord is going to gather all of his people out of the northern country and from among the heathen and put them back in the land, man. Right? But see, this guy imagines a vain thing, right? So from there, we go to because Micah 4 says the same thing, right? This is Micah 4:1. But in the last days it shall come to pass that the mountain of the house of the Lord shall be established in the top of the mountains, and it shall be exalted above the hills, and people shall flow into it. And many nations shall come and say, come and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord and to the house of the God of Jacob, and he will teach us his ways, and we will walk in his path. For the law shall go forth from Zion, and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. Come on, man. This guy is wicked, man. Let's go to Micah 2. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. And nobody does this more than Esau, man. You know, the other nations as well. You can read on the crafty council. But nobody does this more than Esau because you got this guy, man. Okay, you got all of these guys. This is Esau pretending to be pretending to be Ashkenazi from Japhet, right? Pretending to be an Israelite. Come on, man, Coach of Ocha. Only, not only him, but right. This guy imagines a vain thing. They covered fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man his heritage. Okay, now let's look this up. Greater Israel is a ideological concept referring to a expanded Israeli state. See, right? Remember, man, ain't no Israeli people in the Bible. They're Israelites, man. Often interpreted as covering land between the Nile and the Euphrates River, rooted in biblical interpretations and supported by some far-right proponents. It envisions a territory encompassing modern-day Jordan, Lebanon, Syria, parts of Egypt, Iraq, Saudi Arabia. Man, this guy, come on, man. Come on, man. And that's what they trying to do. Because we just heard about it and we just read it in the scriptures, right? But this is why. Because, and it's the Lord putting the spirit on him to do that. On Esau. The Lord is putting the spirit on B.B. Milikowski to do what he's doing because he has to get the Carmanians raging. Okay? He has to stir up the dragon of the east. Right? All for Joel 3. Right. For behold, in those days and in that time when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Yahweh and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my lands. Right, man. What are my maps? Okay. So, the valley of Yahushua, when I think there's actually a map, Ezekiel 37 map. I think they're already okay, cool. I think there's already a bunch of maps out there. I ain't got to reinvent nothing. How can I go back? It's not what I want. I mean, this is what I want, but I wanted a better picture of it. Okay, let's do this. Because when you go into Ezekiel 37 chapter, right? The Lord said He's going to gather all nations to the valley of Yahweh, right? You have Gog and Magog and all of his bands, right? Modern day Turkey, right here, right? Kush, Ethiopia, Persia, Iran, the Carmanians, right? Who else we got here? Yeah, man. So he's gonna gather all of these nations for his cause, man, which is to bring them to the valley of Yahweh Shaphat so that they can be judged. And he's using, Esau to fuck with everybody so that they can get this war kicked off, man. Because the whole time, Esau trying to reclaim his birthright, thinking he gonna be the one that's gonna get the land from the great river Egypt unto the Euphrates. No, man. All you doing is fulfilling the Lord's wishes and his desires, man. Which is, the fulfillment of his prophecies. He just putting the spirit on you. Let me see one more. Let's see. Or is it 15? Okay. Behold, the second Ezra 15:28. Behold, a horrible vision and the appearance thereof from the east, where the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots, and the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon the earth. Right? And you can see that now, man. Right? You see that because you got Iran, man. They throwing them missiles over there. They fucking Israel up. And the news gonna try to spin it like they're not. But even major news outlets, right? Even like the BS ones, like your Fox and your CNNs, are saying like, no, man, Iran is on that with them, right? Because and I'll get into that in a second, right? Because it says, and the multitude of them shall be carried away as the wind upon the earth. And there's a bunch of images you can see of dozens of missiles coming down out of the sky. That all they which hear them may fear and trembling. And that's the sound of no missiles hitting the ground, as you see going on today. Also, the Carmanians, right? And so the modern day Carmanians is Iran, which is Persia. Also the Carmanians, raging in wrath, shall go forth as the wild boars of the woods, and with great power shall they come and join battle with them, and shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians. So, yeah, man. Um, definitely a lot going on. It was definitely a lot to unpack in this video. But, I hope this lesson was edifying. Say shalom. Till next time, Kwam Yasharala.